Alright, welcome everybody. This is patch notes 13.6 breakdown. I got Heartpulse and Sheogorn with me today.
Yo, what's up?
I'm excited to be here, man.
Oh man, it's gonna be dope. I think this one's a little smaller. We got some simple changes coming out, and we actually have a champion being released with this patch. We got this new Milio guy. That's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see all the nitty-gritty details about them on their release. That'll be really good. But
Right.
let's get into this here first.
Let's remove this little thing out the way. All right. We got the first preview picture, right? We can pull this up. Oh, I can't pull it up.
Hmm.
Yeah, it seems small. We got 3 nerfs, 4 buffs, and a bunch of items, and like,
Yeah, they're really hitting runes, and between last
dragons.
patch and this one, it looks like they've been trying to adjust runes. I'm curious if those are weaker or stronger. I would bet that they've nerfed them based off of the fact that they've been nerfing runes on trend.
Yeah, it's been a lot of nerfs lately. A lot of
I
nerfs for
think it,
these runes.
I think they're trying to put more. I feel like they're trying to put more of the adjustment power back into the champions versus the items and runes. They're taking a little of it out. They're
Mm.
putting a little bit back into the champions, making it just easier to adjust them potentially across the board. That I don't know if that's their reasoning, but definitely, yeah, we've seen a lot of nerfs specifically to runes.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is too. You see, like with a lot of classes, like mages or fighters, they're all building the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much. It's like runes are getting too standard. Like, it doesn't even matter what champion you're playing. It's like,
right.
let's grab this rune. All right, first thing, we got this new champion release. All right, we're gonna just jump right into this then.
Yeah, is there something we can watch right here? Can
Oh,
we
I
just pop
see.
that
I
trailer
thought it
up?
was gonna give us the whole like breakdown. So maybe we push this to the
Nah.
end. We can push
You
it to
think
the
so?
end.
Come back to the Milio? All right,
Yeah,
that's
because it's not
chill.
that much patch notes.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
All right, so I thought they was just gonna throw it right there in front of us. I'm like,
Nope.
all right, so we'll come back to the to Milio. First thing we got is this Ashe nerf. No, Ashe buff, huh?
No, this is a buff. This is a buff back to the AD Ash, right? Because they nerfed Ash last patch of the past before to try to pull
Mm.
out that support Ash ranged 80 carry support meta that had cropped up, I
Yeah, they were
think.
hitting like cooldowns on her ultimate, and
Yeah. So I think this is probably just to give back power to AD carry Ash. That's all that, and that's exactly what they're saying, actually,
yep,
right there. Yeah. So
five
Yeah,
that's all
percent.
that is. That seems it's standard. That's fine. Whatever.
yeah, they're just trying to cut down on her utility. There's
Yep.
just so much she can offer, like outside of being an ADC, that it gets out of hand sometimes.
Yeah,
Because she
definitely.
is a great ADC damage wise, right? Like if she
Yes.
actually gets her spacing, gets her positioning, has her safety, she's nasty. She can melt pretty much anybody in the game. So she is pretty good on that role. It's just her utility is so insane that when
Right.
that's overtuned, yeah, she's better in other positions.
Or why play at ADC when you have like wall hacks and
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
global pick every 30 seconds? It's just no competition.
Exactly. Like that shit is amazing. Like just the like you said, that E, like once you learn the sweet spots of shooting it across like the whole jungle, it just offers so much vision and of information.
100%, especially when you know the timing window. So you don't just have the right position on how to hit all the camps, but you know when to shoot that. I mean, those teeny little details right there, just those two things are going to make an insane world of difference for your entire team. Your entire
Right.
team is going to every half minute be like, oh, so there's the jungler. Cool,
Right. And that just
thanks.
gives so much more control over the map, so much more stuff other than like a damage buff can give. Like
Yep.
Hmm.
that's just something that is, yeah, it's just too utility heavy.
Yeah. And I love the Ash AD buff because I think she's a really good ADC. Like if you're filled into an ADC role, if you're playing like some competitive or some flex type gameplay where you could, communicate with your teammates a little better, Ashe is a really easy go-to champion. Like she has good range, she has the CC. You could help like your jungler out by shooting that arrow across. You know, the global ultimates. So I love that the AD buff is happening because I feel like it's a really good beginner. This is actually the person I spammed to learn the game.
100%. Also, it's interesting the way they changed this, right? They didn't increase the base damage on one of her abilities or anything of that nature. They increased her scaling damage off crit strike chance based off of this frosted passive that she has. Specifically, they want her to be AD with crit. Like, that's what this means.
This is a
Ain't
little
no other kind
push
of
to
thing with
that.
that.
That's some ASO nerfs
About
finally.
damn time. All right, what
The
they do?
last one
What
was
they do?
hilarious. The 13.5 quote unquote nerfs were
Yeah,
hilarious.
what do they do? They like took 2 mana away from him or some bullshit
It
before.
was like it was like 18 total armor at 18 or some shit like that, or like
Yeah.
some ridiculously low number.
Yeah, right here it looks like, yeah, 2 primary changes, one with his E, so now it doesn't get
Nice,
scaling cooldown, and his R just nerfed across the board. Both of these were needed. These were super needed.
hands
His
down.
E was up 3 times for every minion wave. That's insane. That's insane. Like
Without
now there's a
cooldown, without CDR.
Right.
now there's like a little bit of miss overlap to those wave crashes plus being able to zone around objectives like a late game fucking Asol could just place an E in between any jungle entrance when you're trying to do dragon or baron and suddenly you have a nearly perpetual impenetrable impassable zone just absolutely broken. So does this actually change that? I don't know that it does, but it definitely helps.
I think the thing they're trying to target with the E nerf is, like when he's in front of his tower and he just places it and he's just spamming Q on the wave and there's nothing you can do. It's just so easy for him to scale so safely that it just
Plus
makes
he
him getting late game so easy.
100%. And he's forcing all of those minions to crash into the enemy tower the whole time as well. So it's just, it's a whole difference between it's that XP grab, that money grab type shit.
Yeah,
Like anybody can get the XP, sure, but he's just going to guaranteed get every single one of those minions with the last hitting on his E. Cool.
right. And then with infinite scaling, it's just impossible to stop.
Yep. And with this R here, these are overall pretty small number changes, but these are significant, especially that very first one. That's a 33, that's a 1/3% or 1/3 or a 33% increase in cooldown reduction. That's nuts. So huge nerf just right there. Just right there alone. Then you take into consideration, yeah, look at everything else. Everything else got nerfed between the CC, between the cast range, all that stuff. I'm cool with this change. That
Yeah, I like
ability
this.
has been so oppressive. You don't have to be, you can be in bot lane and get hit by that stuff in mid lane. That's wild. Bring that
I
cooldown.
think that's still a thing, right? Because they didn't change like the impact. I don't even know
Right,
what to
but
call it.
now, well, right, but now with how much more you have to build up that stardust,
Yeah,
each time you choose to do that big ult is more impactful, right? You can't just spam that stuff whenever you want just to land the slow on like you could, but it's gonna mean a lot more now than it did before. Before
yeah,
you could
that 75
legit
to
just use that
100 is a
whenever you wanted,
huge nerf.
basically. Yeah. This is more, this is, again, in my mind, this is really, really, really going to be important around those mid game times when you are heavily objective focused. And now you're not worried about one or two or even three like a soul ults coming out in that time. Ridiculous.
This E change is huge also. 'Cause like you said, like without cooldown, just level one, or not even without cooldown, getting it what is it, level 13 here?
Yeah,
You'll be fucking, unless you max it, because some people max in E. Some people max
sure.
in E, so either level 9 or level 13 depending on your max order. You're just sitting there hitting the same wave 3 times, bro, with just E, without even throwing your Q, just safely throwing your E and walking away. Yeah, that's huge. We got Mundo now.
Ooh, Mundo Manes. Buffed early, nerfed late. Is that what they're trying to say? Looks like it.
Looks like they're buffing his damage to jungle monsters, actually.
Yeah. You trying to put him in the jungle again?
Was that a thing before?
He
Yeah.
used to be one of the better junglers back in the day, but with increases of jungle damage versus his damage, it just didn't really pan out quite.
I believe
Looks like
like
they're
when
trying
that
to
Bombi
adjust that.
first came out, like the whole Bombi up
Yeah.
changes, that broke him in the jungle. He was able to clear so easily, like with the W Bombi.
That's back when he had like the little fireballs that would spin around him. So that plus Bomby, he could clear camps way faster than almost anybody else. He had one of the fastest clear speeds in the game.
Base health, that's nice.
I'm not sure if this changes much. I don't see a world where he's played over any other jungler.
Hmm.
I don't think so either. And I'm curious. Okay, so the W change right there.
Would
Where
this
so
help
that's
with like laning? Like if you're top side, right, or red side, you will
yeah.
be able to take like those golems or so. Would that be a thing now? Because you got the
Like,
regen for it, you got the
Maybe
extra damage.
sure.
I
So
mean,
this is just getting extra farm. This is maybe an extra camp once every minute on this guy if he gets left top lane, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
the
it's
thing is, if you're taking golems as a top laner, you're not doing that
You're
on a
behind.
timer.
Yeah, I
mhm.
Well,
don't
and even if you're doing it ahead, you're not doing it on a timer where you're minions.
right.
So it does. I don't see it.
This
Yeah,
W with the recast time on that. So that's like when he can reactivate his W, right? That's
Right.
the AoE thing that it gives him the gray health that he heals or whatever. Why would you want to activate that sooner? Just for like a little damage proc a little sooner? Is that
Um,
really it?
I guess the best situation is like in a close fight, or if you get bursted down really quickly.
I
mm,
guess. I guess.
I guess it would just help him stay alive longer, like in those
Perhaps.
situations. But I'm not sure how much point 0.5 seconds is going to impact it.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't know.
I don't think a Mundo is going to die in point 0.5 seconds where he needs to reactivate it so quickly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, these look
These
really minor.
changes, I don't know how impactful they are. I
yeah,
don't know.
these kind of weird changes.
I don't think this is gonna have much impact on the game at all. On the speed of top lane, on the speed of like I don't think this puts him in the jungle. I don't think this changes up the jungle meta or anything.
All right, it's not changing any of his matchups either top lane. So like, what is this really affecting?
I
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe this is a preemptive change. Maybe they're just like trying to test these numbers to change his other stuff next patch to make him a jungler. Who knows? But
Yeah,
right now, yeah, this seems weird.
Yep. Got Galio, huh?
a lot of Galio changes.
A
Increase.
lot. Wow.
Okay,
A
so
lot of,
they nerfed him a lot, right? They nerfed his damage back not that
They
long
gutted
ago.
him.
So they're probably just yeah, right here they're just adding back some of the things they took away for the most part.
Mm. So they're trying to give him more tankiness.
Yeah, 5%, you know, very small increases. 2.5 to 5% increase based off his magic and physical damage reduction, right?
the
Plus
scaling
the
is
little
kind of huge.
yeah, plus the scaling increase. So really what they did was they made him have what, maybe 20, 30 more MR in the late game? Resistance wise or resistance based off of that?
He, yeah,
Because
it's about like
it's
20 or
bonus
so.
magic resistance. If you stack full MR, right, you're barely gonna peak
260.
300. You're
Mm-hmm.
barely gonna peak 300. And that's everything. That's going conditioning. That's all that stuff. That's shy of getting Mountain Soul. You're gonna get like 300 MR. So in that best case scenario, you've got what that 100 bonus time. So that's 4% times 3. That's gonna be 12% bonus. So that's another 12% in total. So that 45% in the game that you are stacking the most MR you possibly can, that 45% is going to have another another 12 on top of the 12 that's being added there. So you'd have what, 48% in total. So that's a little over 90% damage reduction. 93% damage reduction now.
And again,
Versus
and
a
again, this is only
normal
when the
game.
W is activated too. It's not like just flat base stats or anything.
That's basically like 5% change, but overall for the magic resist.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a 5% overall damage reduction increase. So it is still a small change, but it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, and his E cooldown going lower. This just seems to be
That's
like
the big one.
Yeah, I think it's helping him in like counter matchups, right?
Just little trades and little counter matchups and little those little incremental things.
Right.
Yeah, it
Because
seems
now you can
nice.
abuse these matchups more. It just screws over those type of things because you're not really like blind picking Galio, right? Like you're fitting a team comp with it, or you're playing it
100%.
into a certain mid lane. So I think that's just, yeah, this is what it's trying to help.
Yeah. Especially with like
You know
all
what this
those
system?
remember like last patch they buffed up all these AP assassins.
Yeah,
So maybe this helps
that's very true.
battle balance
That's
that
very
out.
true.
They just finished giving up all these AP assassins a bunch of damage and mana stuff. So now it's
Right.
like, this guy could be a little more mobile, could tank a little bit more damage.
And if you look at what they wrote, I mean, it's very true and it's in line with what you just mentioned. They're trying to re identify him. A Galio, his identity over the years has been anti mage. That's
Right.
his whole thing. His whole thing is that him and Cassidon really are like the two anti mages we've had in this game since the start. Uh, and yeah, hugely buffing mage assassins mid lane over the past couple of patches probably did make Galio feel pretty awful. I could see that. So like who is this man trying to stand up against if he can't even stand up against what he's supposed to?
You gotta give him his lore, right? He's this big colossus mountain fucking huge thing. Like, come on, bro. We gotta be able to tank it up. I like this. Got Talon. Talon buffs, huh?
Yeah, they were supposed to buff him more actually. His ultimate,
Yeah.
they're supposed to give it extra 80 scaling, but they pulled back on that, and now they only have this.
See. And the scrolling sucks.
So is this to help him just push waves and keep up?
Um, it's basically, yeah, it's giving him basically an extra W in lane because his
Right.
W is about 40 mana, and just give him more early power so he can snowball more, push out lanes and affect the map because that's all he can
Yeah.
do really, right? He scales
Right.
off late game.
Yeah, and they've been buffing all of these people like LeBlanc, who, recently had been struggling pushing waves, but now they just gave her wave pushing potential. They've been buffing
Right.
all these people's wave pushing potential, and again, I think he's probably just falling behind, and this is just to catch him back up. That's all. I
Because
think
right now on Talon, it's standard to run minion materializer, so you can one
right.
shot the back wave of your W.
That makes
Because they
sense.
took off so much damage that you can't one shot
That
the wave
feels
anymore.
so bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, you
When you
literally
as
have to
as
run
an AD assassin have to go materializer just to kill
so you can
minions.
roam.
Oh,
'Cause that's all he can do. All he can do is roam. So it's like that's what you gotta do now.
terrible.
I
All
definitely
right.
used to feel bad right there.
Yeah.
I love this
With the
though.
mana,
That passive
yeah,
is
yeah.
nice.
The mana cost
Yeah.
going down and the base mana going up is gonna help him just stay in lane and shove an extra.
100%.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah,
Or even like when you try to roam after pushing, but it's like I don't got enough mana for this. You're gonna have those situations where it's like, okay, maybe I can't roam, I got this, or maybe I can all in with another combo.
Right.
I love this passive though. This passive extra damage this is gonna trick people. A lot of people probably like play talents, and they're like, oh, I can survive.
that 10% bonus AD scaling is a lot. Like
Yeah. 100%.
2.10%.
do
Yeah,
you
210% is
see?
a lot.
Do you see? It's fucking 25 at the end, five up front.
Eh, that doesn't mean anything late. He scales off so much late that it's just like whatever.
Hmm. So just
It's
the
the early
scaling is
game.
is crazy.
I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, well, between the 25 flat plus the 10%, that's like on average probably an extra 50 damage that he's doing off this, right?
So
50
when
to
you
60.
survive with that 40 health, nope,
Right.
you will
No
never
more.
survive again. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna trick a lot of people, bro, that think like, oh, okay, this tick is not gonna kill me, and it's,
I'm not sure if this is gonna change too much other than that because
Yeah.
a lot of matchups in the mid lane are just not good for Talon.
yeah.
Like what is he supposed to do against Asol, against Blanc, like all these hard matchups that can both lane. They can push further than
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, he's just outclassed. They're trying to catch him up, but they're doing it slow, I think.
But you don't want to break him. This was
I
a,
see
a
this.
terrorizing person when he was able to just jump. When he first got that wall jump, oh my lord.
Yeah. He was playing jungle and he cleared faster than everyone.
That was pre kind of like I feel though when they made that big change to Talon,
Hmm.
that was pre the huge introduction or reintroduction of mobility into the game. They'd been slowly adding mobility for a long time, but Talon was his mobility to be able to jump through the jungle was still meaningful.
Hmm.
That now is almost kind of like okay.
Bro, it's just
So
what he does now.
yeah, you had champions that can just jump through the whole jungle the whole time. You get a Kane, what? Kane just
He just
flies
walks.
through his
He
entire
just
jungle.
walks.
That was
Like
hilarious.
cool. So it's I think yeah, that kind of feels bad in a lot of ways. He's been outscaled largely through through these not being able to clear waves and everyone else getting more mobility. So I think we'll probably see even more buffs, as Heartpulse mentioned as well. As he was supposed to get an ult buff, I bet we'll see ult plus another buff coming up.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah, I
that.
can imagine it.
Vayne. Oh, not like this.
Oh yeah, these are crazy. These are crazy.
What?
Whoa, that Q change? That's insane. Yo, that is
3 seconds is
good.
ridiculous. 3 seconds is
That
We're
feels
not done.
so
We're not
good.
done.
Vayne
Oh
top is gonna
my
be
gosh.
disgusting. Level one three
Oh,
second Q. How do you like gap close on that? How do you get to that? It's impossible. You're bullied out
Well,
of lane level one.
not just the fact that it's a 3 second. No,
The
no. Okay,
damage,
see,
yeah.
this is the attack duration. Okay, so in my mind, what this means is now you can just queue a lot more, and even if you don't attack anything, you can queue again in 3 seconds. Whereas before, you were just walking
I'm
around
stuck.
like a chicken with your head off because you couldn't roll. You had
Oh
that
yeah,
wasted
I
auto.
see what you mean
This
now.
adjusts the wasted auto, so now you can just chase people. Whereas before, like you couldn't chase them as effectively. This
Oh,
is
and plus the
wild.
move speed, that's
Yeah,
disgusting.
this is
Oh,
wild. So much more. Exactly what I was just talking about with the talent thing. They just gave Vayne so much more mobility. This is insane.
last for this.
What's wild is that's literally like a 50% upgrade. 30 to 45 doesn't look that crazy, but if you look, like, imagine if it was a nerf and they went 30 to 15. That's cutting it in
Yeah.
half, right? Like, bro, they just gave her that half. Like, what?
Yeah, buffed her passive by 50%, buffed her Q by, in my mind, like over 50% with that,
Yeah,
with that
That's
kind of thing.
insane. Level
And then the
1,
W,
you're maxing Q, right? So at 9, you're going to get this plus
oh
35% AD.
yeah,
yeah. Sometimes it's W, sometimes it's Q.
yeah.
I mean, most of the time, unless
I
it's
think
like
with
Mundo
this, it's
shit or like,
always Q now. I
oh
think
yeah,
it's never not Q now because of look at the W change too. They added the damage early and took it off late, so you're less
they're literally
incentivized to
trying to make you
yeah,
max Q
you're Q
now.
maxing. So we're back to like doing some weird bloodthirster Q max, run people down type vein stuff. I guess I don't know. This seems fun.
I
that
think this
seven
is
to that 7 to 3 seconds is insane.
this is terrible for top lane. Imagine trying to play any immobile fighter into this. You can't
Y'all
run away.
break
You
Vayne
can't
top
grab
lane while you
close.
can. Do it now. Yeah,
Yeah, you're free up
I
here.
think Vayne top is gonna be huge. If for niche picks, people are gonna climb on that. You're right.
Because you're even getting more damage to HP early. So you're
Yep.
going to be able to abuse these early tanks
Oh, so
just that
good.
much more.
So
And they
good.
buffed
So
up the W
bad.
early.
I like Vayne being in the game. I
I
do.
do not like Vayne being top lane. She could be
Yeah,
anywhere
that's
else.
fair. That's fair.
Not gonna lie, it's looking like you put 2 points in W and just chill out now.
Yeah.
Who knows? You just gotta see how crazy the Q changes and how much it affects.
True. That Q change is insane. The flat or the percentage AD buffs, and then the duration is the craziest part. Cause like
Mhm.
even if you get a Q, like let's say you go to Q somebody and they jump in a bush and you can't hit them with it, and you're just standing there holding the Q, like that's cut down by more than half now. You don't gotta
Right.
stand there
Yep.
for 7 seconds. It's only gonna take you 3 seconds. That's wild.
That's so good. I love that. I got a huge smile on my face looking at these changes. I don't play Vayne, y'all, but playing Lulu, I love a Vayne as like my as what I'm supporting, and I don't mind going against a Vayne because I'm just like, all right, cool, you're gonna come in, I'll poly your ass, no big deal. Sure, she technically counters what Lulu offers
He said
because
if he wants
she's
to curb her potential power in the
yeah,
top
yeah, yeah,
lane.
right. Please,
Lying.
please.
I'm playing Vayne top to Diamond or Masters this patch. For new account. I'm serious.
I
I'm
love it.
starting today. I'm
This
serious.
is
I'm not
super
gonna lie.
abusable.
I'm
This is
looking
super
into this top
abusable.
lane now.
So
This
what do you
is
run on her summoner wise? Do you just do like the teleport stuff or you go
Some,
for exhaust or do you go
some people go teleport, some people go exhaust, ghost. There's like a lot of things. You go barrier. You
Yeah.
can really do
It's
whatever the hell.
super just matchup dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Heard.
control the wave, so you
Yeah.
don't need TP. You do whatever the hell you
So
want.
good. So good. Y'all heard it here. Play Vayne top, pick whatever you want, and prosper.
Wow.
Build shield wall. Do not build Kraken Slayer. You have enough true damage. Get tanky.
Yeah. Yeah. That shield build, bloodthirster stuff like that is what used to be the broken Vayne build a couple years back. And then they just absolutely obliterated, nerfed it out of the way. This is wild. I like it.
Yeah, I like this. I like this. I hate it and I like it at the same time because I want to play it.
Yo, play top bench. Fun.
This is wild.
Beautiful.
All right, we got some Veigar nerfs, man. Damn.
Finally,
Damn.
I've thought this champion was like the best champion in the game. It's ridiculous. He just controls so much of the map in a fight. It's crazy. That cage.
So it looks like they just did they gave him the inverse Talon treatment. They were just like, okay, he's pushing too hard. He's too strong against these early fights. Whatever. Nerf his wave push and make him actually killable. I don't know. That's all that really seems like it's doing.
It's also like forcing people to submax this W from what it looks like, right? Because you lose so much early. You lose 15 early, but only 5 late.
I don't know.
Even 5 third.
Nah, you already saw max W. You usually put 2 points into cage and that's
Yeah.
So there's only Cage was only a 2-point thing.
yeah for the stun duration.
I see.
I think they're trying to give him the Aurelion Sol treatment. Where it's easier to kill him, stop his scaling.
Yeah. Yeah, because you only ever really need his stun duration to go up to the duration that his W takes to cast.
Right.
And once it's at that, you're good.
This base armor and health, this is at level 1, man. So those level 1 trades where he's already weak is gonna feel even worse now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the Talon boss and the Veigar nerfs, you can probably kill him in one more combo or something.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like the inverse talent change.
Right.
Nerf this side to buff that.
Not a lot. I still think my man Joker's gonna go crazy with this.
Oh no, yeah.
For one tricks, this is fine. This is annoying. This probably is gonna feel bad, but like this doesn't change.
Right, because you're not dying level 2 to Talon as a one trick gamer, right?
Like I said, this sucks. Like with those really early awkward trades that all of a sudden push you out of lane and you're trying to survive now. But as long as you're playing safe, you shouldn't be worried about this. This will a little 25 health plus little 3. That's probably like 40 health right there. You're losing in a trade, but I don't think that's too crazy. The W hurts. I think this hurts the most. That 15 damage would be like the difference maker when it comes to like, oh, I'm just gonna press W on this back wave and delete it.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I was talking about, right? They were mostly just trying to hurt his wave clear because if you only have 1 point in W for a long time.
I was 1 point W into level 14.
Now, yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder to just forget about it, clear and forget about it. You gotta actually pour your resources into it. You gotta back more often. You gotta do these things. You gotta think more. You can't just be like, okay, cool, I get a free game.
Yeah, I think another thing was also, I could be wrong, but I think people were running Predator Veigar.
Yeah.
And just they were getting so much value from pushing the wave and running around the map.
Yep, this is slow.
That champion shouldn't be doing that, right? It should be in place.
Not a fucking mage.
Right. Running around 500 move speed, cage in your ADC one shot here.
All right. Yeah. Yuumi changes. So these are gotta be nerfs. Somebody mentioned this.
Nice.
All right. Let's see. Is this a gut or is this reasonable?
Oh, this is extremely reasonable.
Okay, this is fun. I will tell you exactly what that Q change is going to do. Let's look at the ult change. Hold on. That one's big, though. Okay, so Q change, not a huge deal. That's a good, healthy change. R change, that's hard. That's a big nerf.
I think the armor and magic resist was ridiculous to give.
It was, but you're going to really feel that change. Like this Q change, the only time. All right. So when they changed Yumi's Q, from what it was before to what it is now, it made it so it was way better at abusively poking champions under their tower because you're already pushed the wave out. And current iteration of Yumi's Q is really hard to navigate in and around minions to try to hit people if they're in their minions. So you clear the minions, you push them up to their tower, or you just have those really nice timing windows between waves, good position. All those things can, of course, account for it. But usually, when it's most abusable, is when you're under the enemy tower, poking them relentlessly from max range, crazy, insane, undodgeable stuff. This helps that a lot. It helps against that, mostly from that range and the speed. It's more dodgeable and it can't hit you from an entire screen away, which it could before.
Yeah.
Like I could hit people that I couldn't see all the time. That was a very regular thing.
That was that max range nerf right
Yeah,
there.
it's so dumb. Like it was so dumb. And like the first 3 or 4 games I was playing Yuumi, all I was doing is cackling bot lane from how often like you just hit them, and then it gave you vision of them too. So it's not
So you
like
see them in the tribe bush.
yeah, it's so bad. So like this is really gonna help address that abuse while keeping the in lane around minion fight basically exactly the same
It's also
because
punishing people for spamming this Q.
oh, 100%. Well, especially late. Early, not as bad, but late,
Nah, even
much,
early,
much
you
worse.
gotta see it's a 1 second cooldown. So like you would think that's a buff, but in reality, like if it's costing more mana and you're throwing
Yeah,
more
I tell you,
Qs,
trust, it's really not that big. Like the base cost of it being 50 was a huge buff when they made that change.
yeah.
Plus being able to start with tier even. I'm not saying you do start with tier, but getting an early tier, you really don't have though that many mana problems on her in my experience. But I'm used to conserving resources. Yes, this will make a change to it, but I think it's still going to be manageable.
Like this. 25
Yeah, the
mana is
MR
huge.
change though, like the innate tankiness being taken away from your best friend is going to be a big change right there. That's look at that. Look how much they just took away.
That's perfect.
They
It
just
was
took away like 70 armor and MR from the carry, basically. Just nope. I'm not saying that that didn't need to happen, but that's impactful. That's very impactful. I don't know how much impact that other change is going to have because you still get it for the whole duration of the ult going off. This
Yeah.
is really just like a 1.5 second change overall. It's not much. So I think that part's not a big deal, but that second part, ooh, rough.
Yeah, that
So
second part is huge.
it seems like they didn't fall through with the nerf to the size of the Q. Like
Yeah,
I could have
no
sworn that they
Q
were supposed
size.
to reduce the Q size, but it seems like they just took away a lot of
The
speed, a lot
speed.
of
Yeah, the speed
range.
and range is the big part.
Yeah, the speed especially, because that shit was zooming before. Like you could barely move out of that.
Yeah, it's dodgeable now.
Yeah, they do that a lot. They pull back on changes.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, you see the early things and it'll be different.
Hmm.
I think Yumi's still gonna be good. I think she's still probably in a good spot. This is just pulling her abusability back quite a bit.
Pretty much, or punishing people for spamming it,
Right.
because you'll get that extra Q per minion wave, but it's gonna cost you extra 25 mana now.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's gonna cost you extra 25 per what, 5 throws, 4 throws. So you're gonna be losing like extra 100, 150 mana per wave. That's huge.
It's just up to the ADC players now to play better. You can't get hit by everything.
Yo,
Pretty
15
much.
you're
shields, a
asking a
1,000
lot. You're
magic
asking a
resist.
lot.
You guys got to start dodging hooks and shit. You
Go
know,
back to your basics, everybody. Learn how to last hit, learn how to farm, learn how to position, learn how to dodge.
Yuumi can't save you anymore.
Pretty much. Pretty fucking much, bro. Items. That's it for the champion. Like I said, not much
Yeah, not a ton
champion
of changes. The
changes.
all right. So to me, the biggest change in my mind here is to Vayne.
Yeah, Vayne I think got the craziest change. It is
The
insane.
A Soul change is also a pretty big one.
I think it just makes it more situational. Cause like if you're in a lane where you're counter picking, like if you have the counter pick for mid and you don't have to worry about like I don't know, if I'm against a Veigar or something, I'm probably picking A, so
Yeah,
like I'm not worried about him ever jumping in on me or something. I could scale with him. So I think it just puts him in a more like instead of just auto pick, auto ban. He's more situational now. This is nice.
I
This
like
seems like
these.
where it should have been.
Yep. I think that between scaling back the Yuumi, the Asol, and scaling up the Vayne, these are all really good changes, all foreseen for the most part. Let's see what they have about these items, though. I have no idea about these.
Huh.
Shield is reduced. Okay.
A lot of shields
Yeah,
reduce.
with the Yuumi overheal being buffed,
Yeah.
bloodthirster, shield bow. It's like 5 people need to build serpents, so I think that's what they're trying to pull back on
Yeah.
with a lot
It
of these
was a very
changes.
shield heavy comp.
Yeah,
And shields are a struggle because you can't really counter shields apart from specific items, right? Like
right.
whereas health, you've always been able to counter health. You've
You got
always been able
Vayne,
to counter
Gary,
health and healing.
Fiora, right. You have
Yeah.
options.
Mhm.
But when it comes to shields, that's just
You just have like
free
two
temporary
items.
HP. So it's you are doing damage to a source that doesn't really exist almost from it's a whole other kind of thing. They're very toxic. Shields are really hard to deal with, and that's why they've had to gate shields so hard over the years. Like they did the big enchanter shield nerf a couple years back, where they reduced the duration on shields. Mostly, that was the
Mhm.
big thing. Like shields were lasting 2, 3, 4 seconds longer across the board a couple years back than they do now. Then they started introducing the decaying shield. So they'd be a strong shield at first, it would go back over time, and all of these shield changes to make them still very impactful, but only if you use them as they should be, which is in the moment that they need to be used to cancel burst damage in a
Right.
short period of time, not
Instead
just
of
to
just
stack. Yeah, these crazy
Mhm.
just throwing
persistent
10 of
passive
them on top
shields.
of each other.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
I don't see
ridiculous.
people. I see people spamming shields now. I don't see people using them as like a parry or some shit, like trying to
Yeah.
predict something coming, and it's like, let me throw that shield to block that. Like, no, it's now. It's like, oh, it's on cooldown. Throw that shit up. It doesn't even.
I think another issue with that is the item changes on how every single item gives cooldown reduction now, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
everything is uncapped too. So
yeah,
I like this. I
all
like
very
this.
true.
Cause I've been in awkward situations where it's like, yo, we need a serpents, and then I'm looking through my team, and I'm like, none of us could really
Nobody.
build
right,
serpents, like or shadow flame, like, none of us could really build shadow
Yeah.
flame. So yeah, I'm all with the moving the shields away from the game. It is
All
nice.
right.
Seems simple.
Nashers. And there you go. There's that
Why?
ability haste. Everything has ability haste. And so does
why?
Nashers.
Why?
Is this I think hold on. Let's see, what did they say? Here's this. Just
Bro.
not enough mages are building it. Is that it?
Mages don't build it.
I
Exactly.
know.
Assassins
You
build
don't
it.
I
build
know.
this
That's what I'm
as a
saying.
mage.
Not enough ADCs are building Gore Drinker. We're giving it crit chance.
Yeah, this is really good for people. I don't know. Does what's her name? Diana even
Azir.
build this anymore?
Diana used to. I'm not sure about anymore. Maybe Azir. Katarina usually builds it. Sometimes Echo.
I think
Yeah,
this
who
is a
builds
nerf
Nashers?
to Katarina though, because you don't really want the ability haste. So now you
Right,
got to
and now
worry
you
about
just
an
have to
extra
spend
200
200
gold.
extra gold. Yeah,
It's
that's
an
an
extra
extra
minion
couple
wave.
waves.
Yep. Like
That's another minute that you were out there struggling, maybe getting killed,
Yeah, with your
not
whack
showing up
ass
for
laning fit.
dragon.
Right.
exactly. Like you already fucking struggling, bro. Now it's like, oh, we gotta struggle some more, just a little bit longer.
One more with.
I don't know. This seems weird.
I don't.
Get
Yeah.
yeah. Just add it
What?
to everything, yeah.
I don't see
What?
what his benefits.
What mage? Yeah. What mage is gonna build it now that it has ability?
I just think
I
Azir,
don't
because he wants to
know.
keep popping those guys up, right? So it's like,
Kog'Maw.
I
He gets his W up all the time now. Woo.
guess it's good for Echo, but that's really it.
Yeah, this is
is
a weird
Echo
one.
even building the Nashers though? Like you would want to.
Sometimes it's like a one trick thing where they'll do it into certain comps.
Okay. But you said, all right, you did say Azir builds this though, right? And they've
Yeah.
nerfed the shit out of Azir.
Yeah, I
Were
think this
some
is
of those
just a
cooldown
fucking
nerfs? If
Azir
they were, then yeah,
buff.
is this literally just to help that?
That's what it seems like to me. Because I don't see no other. Like, if anybody in chat, if y'all could think of anybody, I can't. Like, who that
Um,
builds this is benefiting off of this. Even the Diana. Like, Diana doesn't really worry about too much haste, right? You land your Q, you got your combo. You know,
yeah, I guess it's really top Vizier. I guess Echo. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm
So
lost
two
on this one.
champs.
Yeah, I think this is just everybody crying about Azir stuff.
Yeah, probably. Trying to indirectly buff something. I see.
This feels terrible for like I said, the Katarina players
All
though.
right. I see that Navori. I know that's going to be a nerf, right? How much? All
Finally,
right.
fuck. Yeah, cause this the
Some kind of nerf.
navori has been insane
Oh,
lately.
Navori is the second built item on all of the broken 80 carries every single game. It's always your core item Navori or just broken item Navori. That Zaya does this stuff. Ezreal does this stuff. Anybody who's like Zeri, any common broken bot lane ADC is gonna build Navori as their second, if not latest, their third item. It's so good.
I like this.
But how much is it actually changing?
I don't know. That's why I didn't. That's why I haven't said my opinion on it.
I don't know if that's the issue.
I mean, the 3% out of 15 is still huge, right? That's still like 20% off of like if we treating 15 as 100%, they still took 20% off of that. So we just gotta
Yeah,
see how
but
strong that is.
20%, I don't know if that's good enough here. I don't think that anybody is going to build this any less often, and I don't think they're going to really see much difference in that build when they build it. I think Navori is still built second and third, basically every item.
I see runes next. Hopefully, this
Yeah.
plus runes will make shit a little bit easier.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
there you go. Bloodline, goodbye. No healing for
Alright.
you. Yeah, you liked. So I don't understand this kind of stuff. Look, they are saying that they are nerfing this
I'm sad. This breaks my
because
heart.
it's the most picked AD carry rune. This is the most picked AD carry rune because they've nerfed the shit out of all the other AD carry runes. It's not like this is a good rune per se. I mean, not in my mind. I could be wrong on this fact, but to me, this seems like an unnecessary and unfounded change. I feel like it's weird.
Rune was not
Yeah.
insane, right? This rune got super nerfed when it first came out. I believe when it first came out, it was like 12% lifesteal or some crazy shit. Whereas now it's like, I don't even 8% or some shit. Like, what is
But
this?
it says the rune is meant to be a choice, not automatic, but what ADC needs alacrity? They're gonna hit 2.5 attack speed if they need 2.5 attack speed. And which
Yup.
one needs tenacity?
That's
Right?
what I'm
It's not
saying.
that it's like it's the only option because it's like
Because it's the
the
one that
others are
makes
useless.
sense. That's
Right. And
it.
the others are just useless. They don't need the other ones.
Buff the other runes if you don't want 80 carries picking a rune over and over. If you want people to have variability with your runes, they need to be in line with each other and
Right.
not all be bad.
Now they're all just bad instead of all decent in certain situations.
So,
Now
Uh,
it's like your only option is just bad now.
yeah.
yeah,
So again,
just an
power out of
idea.
runes. Power out of runes and into champions, I feel like is what I don't know. That's just how it seems. But this
Just an
seems
idea of
weird.
how bad this rune is now. When it was first released, it was 12%, right? And they brought it down to like 8. They brought it down to 6. Now at max stacks, we're getting 5.25% lifesteal. And then you're taking away
How
the
much is
15
vampiric?
help.
How much does vampiric give you?
10%.
10%. So this
10%?
is literally
10
half
or
of
8.
vampiric.
Yeah.
And the vampiric is 900 gold?
Yep.
Damn.
This is terrible. This
And
feels
the
so
thing is,
bad.
too, if you look at some of the recent ADC buffs to like Aphelios and Jinx, they're buffing their attack speed. So they have
Right.
even less reason to go alacrity.
Right.
So what is this even changing?
This is I don't agree with I don't know.
They nerfed tenacity. They nerfed bloodline. The only other one is alacrity. I think we're just spamming alacrity again on a lot of champions.
Right. It's just gonna go to a different option. Same
Yeah.
thing.
Alright, what's the next thing?
Lethal tempo.
Ooh. Yes, fuck that. I'm happy. I got my heart sunk for a second, and then it said ranged users. Motherfucker, this guy, dang it. Yi is fine.
Yeah, this seems fine. Whatever.
I like that though. So you got the lethal nerf, which is usually paired up with the bloodline, and is usually paired up with the quick blade. So like I said, the runes all in total seem like this could have a change in the ADC
It's
scene.
all hitting Zaya, honestly.
True.
Yeah.
This is
All
all just
ADs.
nerfs for Zaya.
Zaya, fucking Ezreal, fucking like
Not
all of
even
them.
Ezreal's not going lethal tempo, right?
Well, he's not going lethal tempo, but he's going navori and probably bloodline.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the lethal is mostly I feel like hitting Zaya, and you get I don't know, Jinx has been really popular and she runs that. I don't really know who else is
Zeri joining that.
Zeri. Yeah, Zeri's
Yeah.
a big proponent for that.
Yeah.
There's like the three
Fucking
main people.
what's his other girl? Why am I blanking? Zaya. That's we already named her. The Kaisa. Kaisa's another one. Doesn't this
Does she
affect
build quick
Kaisa?
plays? Yeah, she does build quick plays.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, yeah. Second
And
item every time.
Bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she's good, y'all. Kaisa came back into the meta because Navori Quickblade is good. Just understand that.
Yeah.
She wasn't good until that item was good.
So this has probably pushed Kaisa a little bit back. This will probably push Zeri a little bit back. This will probably
Right.
push Zaya a
Because
little bit back.
the top four pick rated champions, top five is Jinx, Kai'Sa, Zeri.
Yep.
This hits
The
all of them.
ones I complain about
All
every
right.
time, and all of them build second or third item Navori Quickblade. They all go bloodline. They
Like
all go lethal
this
tempo,
changes
basically.
up the bots. I'm interested when we do our tier list. How this is gonna affect? Could this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we can at this point. I think we need data
Yeah,
because
this
this
changes a lot.
changes botline dynamic a lot. Between this and the Yuumi changes and shit, like this is significant. Even though the Navori changes are minimal, all three of these together, plus other changes that they had, nerfs last patch, etc., like that 5 damage off of Zaya's E last patch, or all of these things are stacking now,
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is
and
double
this is
nerfs back
significant.
to back to Zaya.
Right. They're not just like destroying one champion; they're hitting everybody in different.
Yeah,
ways.
yeah,
Right.
this is across the board type stuff.
I
Yeah.
like this. Ooh, Drake
Dragon
changes.
changes.
Huh.
Are they making it stronger or weaker?
Seems they're making them weaker.
Well, that's in line with making 80 carries weaker, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So
True.
trying to make them
'Cause
participate in it.
every jungler is pathing bot. We play for dragon. We get soul.
Yep.
Yep. That
That's just
first
the game
dragon
plan every
also.
game.
Yep. That first gang into that dragon that'll probably get you your component, get you your stacks. Like all
Yeah.
of this will be pulled back. Wow. Okay.
So I feel like bot lane is gonna be more even in minion waves than it has been as of late. As of late, it kind of has been relatively snowbally, where you're either pushed up to one person's tower or they're pushed up to yours, and you're converting that into dragon pressure. I feel like with the big changes that they're putting across the board to how quickly you can push bot lane and abuse people into their towers, that's probably pulled back a little bit. Uh, so I think dragon windows are going to be more important. It's more killable, it's dealing less damage, and your bot lane's a little bit more vulnerable. Like all of these things, I think, yeah, it's just trying to center play a little bit more heavy bot side. And it's already been heavy bot side. It's interesting.
These nerfs are kind of big, bro.
Yeah, I
Like
think they're trying to pull back
yeah, they're trying to
from
get
like.
like some of the attention away from the bot lane.
Mhm.
Now prioritizing that rift is looking a lot better than like, all right, cool, I could get this 7.5% attack speed, or I could just go and buy an item that'll give me attack speed because we just took this rift and gave
Yeah.
me an extra 300-400 gold.
But there's no buffs to the other sides of the map to incentivize you to do that.
Mhm.
Well, Rift has always been insanely good. Rift
Not
is
the amounts
guaranteed
and
a kill if you get it. It's like the goal, well, really a kill and a half plus. If you get it and you just immediately take it to a lane and drop it, that is a kill plus.
Yeah.
That's strong. That is so strong. Uh, I just think that yeah, dragons are flashy and shiny and fun.
so they just
Rift
hit
Herald.
all dragons. Which
Oh
No.
one got
yeah,
left
across the
alone?
board.
Uh,
Chemtech. Chemtech got left
Cloud,
alone.
Cloud, and Chemtech.
1%, 0.5. Yeah, the ocean doesn't look too crazy. I think the Ocean is still ridiculously strong. 2.5 and 3 is not much of a difference. 6 and 5 is not much of a
Yeah,
difference.
usually I only want a one piece ocean anyway, honestly. Like I just want that very first ocean to help sustain in lane, and then outside of that, I don't care about it.
The resistances is like, man, it's 4% late. That's if you have 4 of them. I don't know. These look nice. I think they're just trying to like. I think these are just like mental changes. Like people are gonna think like dragons are just naturally weaker. Let's go play top
This
side.
means farm more, right? This just means farming. Like last jungle patch, they made farming better. This
Mm-hmm.
makes farming better just because taking the objective is worse.
Oh, they actually nerfed the soul of Hextech. This is the only soul that was nerfed.
Well, Hextech Soul needed to be nerfed. It was
Yeah,
it was overperforming all of the others by a lot,
it was like
significantly.
60 win rate or something.
Yeah, it was
I
insane.
forgot this all.
It was insane. Yeah, that nerf needed.
I like these. I
Very
like these.
glad.
They don't seem too crazy. I think I'm still sneaking these dragons regardless. Like the
Yeah,
only one that was pushing me away was Cloud. Like I was like, Cloud wasn't really too crazy level 1 to die for. But
go up. Let's check out that Milio. Let's finish out with that. Oh wait, we still have
got some
ARAM
ARAMs.
changes. Oh, look at these.
I'm down for some ARAM changes always, yo.
But
Shout
these are
outs
just
to
like
the ARAM squads.
percentages.
These are
Little
just
buffs.
teeny little BB things.
Yeah,
But
like
these are
5% up,
yeah,
5% down, you know.
whatever.
Not the Yi nerf. Come on.
It's not a nerf, he's just normal now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
He's just
right?
not
It's the
buffed
same
anymore.
shit. It's just
They're like,
the
all
same
right,
nerf.
we gave him a little juice and he was too strong. We gotta keep him. We gotta keep him level.
It's when you drop 5 pentacles, man, they
Look
saw it.
at that poor Maokai. They had to give Maokai 10% damage buff. Gosh.
No damage received. So he
Oh,
was
that's
So,
what that
taking
is. Oh,
extra
damn.
damage. Now he's taking less extra damage. Oh,
Yeah.
what is this? I guess they just dropped TFT stuff.
It's
TFT
apparently.
is in
Oh,
peril.
yeah. Oh, yo.
Oh, there's new TFT stuff too.
All right. Let's do Milio. Get into
Nice.
TFT. No, I don't know TFT changes, like I said. But
Quirky damage
I
received if you
saw
receive.
turrets. Those might actually matter. Nope, not really.
Ah, they're bringing that down. Damage
I don't
dealt,
think.
nerf.
Yeah, none. I don't think this is all, and none of this stuff's gonna really matter that much. It's just little baby stuff.
I got some clash stuff. Nice. Normal Q. Hmm? Blind pick? They're focusing on blind pick?
I think this is April Fool stuff. Like how they changed like skins for the map and only in blind pick.
I see, yeah. Make sure you go check them out. April 1st to 3rd.
They've got LP gain changes and MMR changes. No, MMR is the same. They're just trying to remove some of the variability between shitty queues. Is that what it is?
I think they're buffing up how much you're obtaining, right? LP wins and losses.
Well, they're buffing up how much you gain overall. They're smoothing out the loss gain extremes. So if your MMR is horrible, you will lose less, and if it's insanely good, you'll gain less. Uh, so overall, this is just trying to make stuff a little bit more consistent.
It's a little tooltip about being fucking Master Plus. And just some skins, mythic shop. That's pretty much brings us to the conclusion of the wrap up. Again, I think the craziest changes is definitely that Vayne stuff. And they said that they wanted to take Vayne away out of the top lane. I think that puts her back in the top lane even more so. Those ADC nerfs are huge. I want to see how the ADC like tier list plays out now, because pretty much like your top 5 ADCs all got, triple nerf this patch.
After they got directly nerfed last patch, most
Yeah.
of them.
Let's see what that puts everybody at. We got this Milio stuff.
You might have to go to the website for that.
Yeah, it's up at the top. There were those links to the abilities and to the trailer, which would probably be the only two you would want to look at.
We actually have cheerleaders challenges.
Yeah, we already know Milio's broken is going to be extremely broken, and Milio's going to be extremely hard to balance because their core utility that they bring to the table is what breaks them. So without changing their core utility, it's going to be a pretty big numbers game with this champion, I feel like, back and forth and back and forth.
See the abilities through here. Because even on the website, they don't give no base ratios, nothing.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that we can see base ratios anywhere except in client.
Not
I'm
even
not sure
loading.
if they have the videos on the client yet.
No, I mean like on the
They
PvE
had the
client.
videos
Like
though.
if
Alright,
you're
let me
in the
see.
game. If you're in the game playing Milio on PvE, then you can see the numbers. I think that's it.
Switch to the desktop screen.
Yeah, the I don't know, man. I almost, with the way that Milio plays out, I could almost see Milio doing some weird double support stuff bot lane. They can make almost any bot lane combo work. This
Just so
passive
that
is
way you guys can
nutty.
see. Milio's abilities: enchant allies on touch, make their next spell or attack deal a burst of extra damage, and burn the target. Alright.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
like, alright, if we pairing
Yes.
this up with a brand who has
And
Leandries and Scorch, is that
notice,
full burns now?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of wild, wacky combos where I feel like this could apply, especially because it doesn't look like this is gated by anything aside from maybe an internal cooldown, but like it just reads Milio's abilities. So potentially you could get every single time you cast for this to happen on your ally. Like that's 4 bursts of damage plus 4 burns plus all of the other, I don't know. That's wild in and of itself. So much damage.
Alright, it's Q. So speaking of one of the abilities that he could use to proc this passive, is this Q. Kick a ball that knocks the enemy back, and on hit, the ball bounces behind the target, damaging and slowing enemies in the area upon impact.
Yeah, wild.
It's like a Ziggs W and Q combined.
It's so
With
strong.
the E, it's like all three. It apply the slope.
So this ability is interesting. I think that this is the most balanced ability that Milio has, which is good because it's their spammable ability. The reason I think that this is the most balanced one is that while it's absolutely nutty what it brings, it is just a single target disruption and it's a knockback, which isn't always what you're looking for as a support. A lot of times you want engage. This is much more geared towards a safe thought out engage if you have the bot lane or the jungler come in bot lane, or a disengage more often.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm looking at it
the
more as disengage because I'd be upset
right,
trying to land a skill shot and all of a sudden
and
my
then it's like,
Milio is
nope,
pushing my man's back and I'm missing the skill
right.
shot.
Leona can't E Milio because Milio will just knock her back through her E and it cancels it. It's a whole thing. It's so annoying. Now you can also just Q the minion wave and it'll bounce and do a huge AoE of burst damage. So you don't even have to ever use it for the knockup and it's still good. But you know, I feel like because it is a pretty simple ability overall, it's actually going to be the most balanced one. These others are insane.
So if you at looking at this interaction, he throws the Q through the ADC and it gives her the buff.
Yeah, because it hits the first enemy, right? So it's going to burst on the first enemy.
So it'll still go through the like allies. Does that
Yeah.
increase the range? Because it seems like longer
I don't think it
range.
increases the range at all. I think it's just proccing his passive on them. So you could probably throw it through all 5 of your allies too. Imagine that. Now all 5 of your allies on their next ability, or all 4 of your allies, my bad, are gonna proc that passive.
W. Create an
This
empowering
is
zone.
so broken. So broken. Insanely busted, broken, most broken. What is this ability?
Wait, I'm confused.
It just heals them and gives them more attack range.
He's
It
controlling the
is
zone moving? How is the zone moving?
the zone moves. It prioritizes who's closest to Milio, basically. That's it. So when you see initially they cast only Nyla's attacking, so it's on Nyla, but as soon as Caitlyn attacks, because Caitlyn is technically like a tiny bit closer to the cast origin, then it'll go to Caitlyn.
Like a
That's
Victor ulti, right?
yeah, basically. Now the healing zone is already good enough. That attack range zone outranges towers, y'all. Like regular fucking mid-range AD carries that have 600 AD are going to be able to auto towers from outside tower range on a basic ability cooldown that also heals in an AoE. Are you fucking kidding me? What? Also, just imagine this person running with a Master Yi, and Master Yi just being able to bop, 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 bop with like crazy auto attack range. Now he's a
You already
ranged
got your
character.
fucking lethal tempo proc, increasing the auto range on top of the
Yup.
auto attack range buff on top of.
You'll be
I'm
hitting people from
over the
auto
wall.
attack range,
This right
from
here.
Caitlyn range.
See this right here? I'm gonna be autoing people over the wall, bro. Like that. That's nice. So my man throws a little Q. After he throws the Q, he'll hit him with the little W, heal him up. Which means, oh, it applies the burn too. Look at this shit.
Yes. Abilities. Remember what I said?
Oh,
Abilities.
bro. What?
This is AoE, Teddy. The Q is AoE technically because it can pass through all your allies. Your W is AoE, so it activates your passive on all your allies. So you already have 2 abilities that activate your passive on every single ally.
That's insane, bro. And he has
This
a
one.
fucking shield?
Yup. This just great. A shield and move speed. That's all you ever want. A shield and move speed. Either
A
shield and move
champion
speed
to
or shield attack speed.
That's the ultimate front to back champion disengage champion.
Yep.
If you have
Super.
an ADC kiting you with the extra range, extra speed, I don't know.
Knockbacks, burns, fucking.
And then it
What?
gets even better. The most broken ability, I would argue. All right. Before you show the next ability, I had said that when Seraphine was released, that was the strongest ability we'd ever seen in the game was Seraphine ult.
Yeah.
An AoE, insanely ranged charm ability. Up to that point, charm was like the second strongest form of CC behind suppression. Charm was a CC that did everything a suppression did, except it also made them walk to you. What? Oh my god, insane. Then they went ahead and released Renata, which I was like, oh my god, that's even more broken. It's like this Seraphine ult, but now they're not just charmed, they walk towards each other and they do damage to each other for free.
They
That's the
kill each other,
strongest
bro.
form of CC.
Like, as
Wild.
soon as a Master Yi presses R, you press R. And just watch
Right.
what happens.
Insane. Insane. So now, right, with these in my mind, these have been some of the strongest abilities they've ever introduced to the game. Now we've also seen with Skarner potential changes that he's going to have an AOE suppression that is a what a AOE cone nuke suppression on his ult, so he can hit 5 champions with his suppression. Now in come Milio. Go ahead. All of those champions are useless. That's that's what this is. Good luck. Oh, Seraphine lands an amazing cross map AoE. Oh, it doesn't matter. Your whole team's safe. You're fine. What? Oh, an insane crazy arrow lands cross map that was perfectly. It doesn't matter. You're fine.
A man's has a
Fucking
built-in
Malzahar flash
Mateos.
ults. It doesn't matter. You're
I
fine.
don't think this is that crazy.
I think this is the
I think
craziest
it's very strong, but honestly, I don't think you're blind picking Milio. You're not picking it into anything. You're not picking it into Zeraf, Brand, like these poke mages. You're gonna pick it into Nautilus, Leona,
Oh, I picked this into
right.
brand. If I can use this even just to cancel the brand stun. So now
Oh,
brand
true.
has
The
he misses
stun, the
the
pass,
stun.
does this drop passive?
I
Cause like
bet it
that
fucking
circle shit,
does.
I
like
don't think it does.
It wouldn't drop passive, but it might drop. No, it wouldn't drop the ability or the item damage on it either. Either way, if you can just dodge the stun, you're probably going to dodge the W because most of the time a brand is going to queue up their W immediately when their stun hits. So you dodge 2 abilities basically off of that. Now it's going to be really hard for the brand to proc his passive at all. The whole time you get crazy auto range, which he's a very short range champion. I don't know. I don't necessarily think
wow.
this is an auto pick into every single matchup, but I do think that this can be played into any matchup. And the only ones it's weak against are super aggressive, non-CC dependent bot lanes, such as like a Lucian. I don't even fucking know. A Lucian something.
What I like with this is gonna give you the burn, right? So as soon as he pops this, they're getting healed, they're getting the CC off, and they're getting burn added. And then in this situation, it's like, cool, what would you do next? Hit him with the fucking cozy can't fire, bro. So now you got the attack range from back here safe that he could sit here and just turn around on whoever the hell try to CC them and reapply the burn. Hit him with a second heal because the ult heals. So now you got 2 heals coming out, 2 burns.
2 AoE heals. Also, just consider this isn't a cleanse. This is stronger than a cleanse. This is
Yeah.
something that has been gated behind one item and a handful of abilities in this entire game's history. That one item is QSS, and there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 champions who have abilities that cancel suppression type stuff. This is the only, this is using that. That's wild to me. I don't know. The fact that it's AoE is the part that really that jumps my gun, and then they went ahead and just added a heal to it as well, and the fact that it also procs as passive. Okay,
Yeah, it's nutty.
okay.
I think the only counterplay to this is actually crowd controlling him. I gotta see how the interaction is. Like, can he pop it while
In
he's
which
crowd
case, then
controlled?
maybe do you just now hear me out? Do you just run cleanse on this character?
True, because you go to CC him like as part of the AOE, you fuck around, cleanse. Oh, like I'm gonna release myself and everybody at the same time, bro. Like, cause I'm like,
I'm not.
how do I? I'm thinking as a Yi or like whatever the fuck. How do I jump in on this guy, right? Like, I just gotta go on him and not anybody else, cause he'll just be shielding them, giving them range, healing them.
Yeah, he's not as safe as like a Lulu in that sense, right?
Yeah, he
Like if you
doesn't
jump on
have any
Lulu, I can
mobility.
poly you.
My
He
guy
doesn't
has
have
no
mobility.
mobility.
And he's got one form of CC, which is his Q knockback. The rest of it ain't no CC.
Just some enchanter
So,
shit.
right. So this is very like you got to play him in a specific way. He is an enchanter. You have to be safe with him. But the potential, but this is one of those champions I think is gonna just like break pro play.
Yeah, I think this is huge, like for pro team comp play, like 5v5 flex shit, tournament shit, and it's a really good counter pick. Um,
Insanely good counter pick.
yeah, it's definitely
And
like there hasn't been much counter play or counter picks available for crowd control, and crowd control got so heavily buffed like these past couple patches, or just these past couple seasons.
I
Like,
love it.
yeah, it is huge. There hasn't been much. It's like what you build QSS, you build Mikhails, you take a spell. Like this is like, yeah, you could pick this champion, and like I don't have to build nothing as a Yi. I don't have to build a QSL. Just stand near this guy.